Hey guys, Alex here, ajnashville.com, here with Mr. Luis for
Hey
another
guys, hope y'all
Friday
doing well.
show. So,
Happy
anyways,
Friday.
yeah, happy Friday. Remember everyone deployed. You've got your red shirt on. I don't have my red shirt on today. Unfortunately, it ended up in the laundry. I don't know if the kids threw it in there, if I threw it in there, because I just did laundry the other day.
You telling me you only own one red shirt?
I know I'm British and we're known as the red coats, but yeah, I've got one that I own that fit me. Let's put it that way. I've got multiples.
I got a red, what do they call those things?
Jacket,
No.
robe.
Robe. I got a red robe. I should wear the red robe to work one day.
You come in the office with a red robe on, and you'd be fucking going home.
Better yet.
Right, without pay.
That's fine.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny that, today's Friday, and that's what I want to talk about. Actually, I woke up early this morning, and I started thinking about the productive things I get done on Fridays that don't get done on other days. When it comes to at least this industry, the mortgage industry, Fridays is a day for a lot of people to hurry up and leave the office. They go golfing, they go on outings. It doesn't happen as much as it used to back in the day, but it still happens where you have people that are ready to punch the clock and hurry up and take off and celebrate the wins for the week or whatever they may have done.
Now let's go in early so we can leave early.
No, not necessarily that. It's more of, there's a lot of places that let people leave at 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when there's still a lot of work to get done. And that's the biggest thing on a business day. And bear in mind, you have people like us that we're here till, 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night on every day just to make sure that things get done, and that's not saying that we're better than them. But what I'm trying to allude to is, Friday is still a portion of the work week. If you work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Friday is 20% of your week. And if you're in a position where, let's say you're an hourly person and you show up Friday and you half-ass it. Have you ever heard that joke where people say, oh, it must have been built on a Friday? They'll talk about cars or something. Mm-hmm. It's, man, this thing's a lemon. It must have been built on a Friday. That joke exists because people know that on Friday, people don't put in the same efforts as they do the rest of the week. And then if you think about it, you have Mondays. And what do people think about Mondays? The weekend's over. I don't want to go to work today.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday. Don't worry about it.
So now we're down to 3 days that people should actually work, except now we have hump day.
Yeah.
And hump day is a day where...
celebrating hump day.
Right.
Happy hour.
But what are they celebrating? That's the question.
Halfway there so I can be off on Friday.
Exactly. So they're looking at, hey, when can I wash this thing up and be done? And I guess if you're, to me, when you work with somebody, for somebody, whatever it may be, there is a commitment. You're saying, hey, I'm going to put in 100% worth of effort, and you're going to pay me 100% of what we agree on for all the hours that I'm set to work. And that's not even the basis of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that have goals and dreams that they want to accomplish. They've got a goal board up and they've got, their goals written out or whatever it may be, but they're not putting in the additional work that it takes to get to where they want to be. In the meantime, there's somebody else that's willing to take that. There's somebody else that's working hard. That's the one thing that we forget, all of us forget, is that there's somebody out there that wants what it is we're trying to obtain. There's somebody out there willing to work hard enough to get what it is that we want. We just have to outsmart and outwork them. Working hard versus working smart, obviously there's a division between the two things. But if you don't go out and do the things that are necessary on a regular basis to get to where you want to be, then you're going to end up without it. And then what are you going to end up with? Disappointment. You're going to say, oh man, 2019, that was a shitty year for me. It could have been better, but, it wasn't as good as it was supposed to be when, in fact, you didn't put in the effort that you should have anyways. And all of us look back at the years that we worked to try to accomplish our goals and maybe missed them. It's a question about how bad did we miss our goals. There's been goals I've set for this year that I know without a doubt I'm not going to obtain, and it's just because we're far enough in the year that, hey, this isn't going to happen. But when those are personal goals, and even though there's still goals that are set in stone that I want to meet, it's because I've chose to ignore that personal portion of my life because I'm focused on the professional side of it. So like I said,
lots of people look, like you're saying, they look back on their life and regret.
Yeah.
Of, hey, I didn't do this. Well, what are you doing today to get over that regret? What are you doing today to accomplish that goal?
Yeah.
If you're half-assing your work, then you're never going to get anything done, and you're going to circle back to that regretful memory again to where you didn't accomplish what you wanted.
Right. And do you want to be on your deathbed and look back and say, man, I should have worked harder. I should have done more. You know,
No.
the big thing for me and the thing that opened up my eyes is looking at my kids, going home and thinking, I've got to tell them no if I don't do this. You know, I got to tell them, hey, we can't do this because dad didn't work hard enough. And that's painful in itself. The thought of, I have to tell somebody no because I chose to be lazy or because I chose to spend the day, you know, drinking with my buddies or something like that. That's where it becomes real for me. And it took a lot of maturity and took a lot of time for me to get to that point because I'm not going to lie, I was the same person working in the mortgage industry, waiting and beating on the desk and looking at the clock and waiting for 3 o'clock to roll around for us to roll out. The bad thing is there was always a goal. The goal was if you hit the metrics that were required for that day, they'd let you go as early as you wanted to. So if you hit the metrics by 11 o'clock in the afternoon, you're good to go. Well, guess what? Now, a person like myself or a person like us in the position that we're in, if a whole office, you know, 30, 40, 50 loan officers are being let out at 11 o'clock, that leaves a lot of space for the rest of us to reach out for the clients that are looking for homes over the
Where's all that
weekend.
money going?
Out the window. But the metrics were met, right?
No, it's going into somebody else's pocket.
Exactly. It's going out the window at that company into somebody else's window. You know, the fact is people want people that are willing to work hard for them. You know, they want people that are willing to put in the extra effort. So you have places that, whether you're hourly or not, you know, people are looking at that. How many of my people are working hard to get things done, you know, throughout this period as opposed to just kind of getting by the best way that they can, you know? Those are things that most people think, well, I'm in an hourly position. It's not going to make a difference for me today. But in fact, it does.
Yeah.
So
Always does.
and just like in your position, you know, a lot of what we do is goal based. You know, compensation is goal based. Future goals and everything else that we set affect where you'll eventually end up from a business standpoint. Mm-hmm. And so coming in and putting in that extra effort, you know that eventually the dividends will pay off. You know eventually that you're not going to be my production partner for the rest of your life. You know, you aspire to be a successful loan officer, and you know that what you learn and what you do now is going to pay off at some point,
right?
As opposed to being in the position that you're in right now. You know, your position's temporary.
That's a reason why when I leave here during the day, if I know that I have something else that I need to do,
yeah,
I take my laptop with me.
Right.
I take my laptop with me on the weekends because, you know, what if you're in a bind and there's, you know, like somebody contacted me previously, a realtor. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey man, I need a pre-approval letter for this person.
Right.
They're gonna actually look for a house this time. Well, guess what? I'm up on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning in bed, making a pre-approval letter real quick for a person.
Well, it's doing what it takes. No, it's doing what it takes to get the job done, no matter what it takes. You know, and like I said, when I get up early in the morning and I sit there, I start planning out my day. You know, I plan out my day, what needs to be done. You know, you focus on success. Now, the other thing that comes with it is balance. And this is something I talked about earlier today. And that has to do with, you know, I'll work and I'll be at home sitting on the couch, sitting out an email or something, and I'm shooing the kids off me. And then I have to stop and realize that the whole reason why I work to begin with is to make sure that I can take care of my family. Mm-hmm. So is it right that I sit there and I'm shooing the kids away while I'm trying to get work done? Or should I be being where I am, being present where I'm at? You know, that's a term that Andrew Paul uses quite a bit, is being present. You know, you can't be present at home with your family if you're thinking about work.
No.
You've got to be able to separate those two things. And my younger years, people were always like, leave your baggage at the door. When you get to work, focus on where you're at. And that's much easier said than done, because leaving your baggage at the door is something that takes a lot of maturity. It takes a lot of separation. It depends on what it is. You know, are you upset because you can't pay your light bill this month? Or are you upset because your girlfriend broke up with you? Or what are you upset about? All those things are going to be relative when it comes to leaving your baggage at the door. But the one thing I've learned from it is taking that and saying, all right, I'm home now. I'm gonna play with the kids. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna set my phone down. I actually have to go home, put my phone upside down on a countertop away from me. This way I can take an hour to play with the kids. You know, it was actually a personal goal that I set for myself this year, was to spend an hour a night playing with the kids. And that's bad when it becomes that. But a lot of people know that when you get into the habit of doing things, it becomes obsessive. You know?
And we have to step away from our electronics. There's way too much that can distract you on an iPhone.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but being able to delegate that time. I have a buddy of mine that's a loan officer, and he had a client leave him a negative review because he was not available to take this person's call on July 5th, the day after the 4th of July. And he had messaged her and said, hey, I'll be back in the office on Monday. I'll speak to you then. Well, she wrote a negative review because he wouldn't respond to her immediately. And that's the thing. You have to, that separation. He lost a client over it, but, it happens. So, the other thing that I want to bring up, we've been doing a lot of refinances and everything here lately. Mm-hmm. One of our greatest sponsors, Broker Title and Escrow, they're out in Nashville, Tennessee. They've been giving us great deals on taking care of our clients. So if you are a person out there looking for a great title company that will get the documentation that you need at a discounted price or a better price than what their competition typically presents, reach out to Greg Fairbetter over at Broker Title and Escrow. They can be reached at 615-986-2213.
Anyways. I really like Greg, man.
He's a good guy.
He does really good work.
Yeah.
Loves his clients. Never drops the ball.
Right. Well, and that's another thing. Once again, it's a person that works Fridays, and that's ultimately what we strive for. Is we strive for people that we can work well with together. Because when you surround yourself with people who believe in excellence, then you typically get a same result. All around the spectrum. And there's a lot of different places to choose from, just like lenders, realtors, everything else. There's a lot of different professionals that you can choose to work with, but hopefully people choose to work with the best, So any thoughts, anything floating around in that head of yours today?
No, I'm just, I just want to be productive. Today's Friday, but it's not going to end.
Right, exactly.
It's not going to end.
Yeah. No.
And we shouldn't let it end.
Well, it's just a constant grind. You have to constantly be engaged. You have to constantly go. Speaking of that, our buddy Travis, he's down here from Michigan. He's on his way back to Dallas. And Travis does vape stuff, vape accessories. It reminds me, when I say this, it reminds me of King of the Hill, where he's like, I do propane and propane accessories. But that's a person.
That bottle over there, boy.
Right. That's a person that gets out there and gets after it. He was working all the way on his way down here yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't get here till later on in the evening because he had stopped in several cities on the way to try to. This guy's cold calling these places. He's showing up and saying, hey, I got vape supplies. You want some? I got juice. I got this. I got that.
Have a sample.
Exactly. And that's a person that.
What was he printing off before he left?
Price sheets. Yeah, order sheets and price sheets. Mm-hmm. But that's a person that takes what he's doing seriously. He knows that, hey, without the work, I will not have success. Everyone looks for the elevator to the top, and I've read books and everything, elevator to the top. But the fact of the matter is, there's no quick way to get to the top. It's hard work. It's going up the stairs. It's slipping. It's falling. It's bleeding. It's going stairs back, and then
do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Don't say that. That's a whole nother. We don't even want to get into that topic. But yeah, that's that Art Williams, Just Do It. If you guys haven't checked that out on YouTube yet, there is a gentleman by the name of Art Williams, and he's got a video called Just Do It, and it's pretty inspiring. Like when you're listening to it, and he's talking about, if you want this, basically he's saying if you want to get after it, no matter what it is, you tell me you're going to do great things, don't tell me, show me. Just do it. Just get it done.
Well, see, and Travis is doing it.
He is. He's out there hustling right now.
Greg's doing it. We're doing it.
They're all out there hustling. And that's what I talk about surround yourself with greatness. If you're surrounded with people that don't have the motivation to get anything done and the people that have the motivation just to sit around and let life pass them by, I call those people trees. We're on a pathway of success, and the trees are the people that are comfortable where they're at. They don't need to move. They're rooted down. They're okay. And there's nothing wrong with being a tree if that's the life that you chose for yourself.
So you're not that guy that's in a BMW and you see somebody drive by you in a Ferrari and you're pissed off because their car's nicer than yours?
No, not at all, because that means that person more than likely worked harder than I did.
You don't know? You're not mad?
No, you know that. There's no reason to be. And it's funny you say that, because I used to have a friend, we drive past big houses or something like that, and they'd be like, oh, fucking, those people were given that money and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Or, oh, those people are athletes or music stars or whatever. It's like, you don't realize the work it goes into to do that. Michael Jordan, for example, greatest basketball player that ever lived, which is debatable depending on who you ask, but the greatest basketball that played during my time, my youth, portion.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
And
a couple years back.
And constant, consistent practice. He didn't just wake up in the morning, go play some ball, and then go home and be done. It's consistent sharpening of your tools. You know, talking about this event that I'm going to go to next week. Do I know some of the things that are being taught? Probably. Could I learn from the things that are being taught? Definitely. Am I surrounding myself with people that are choosing to grow? Absolutely. And that's what it is. You know, it's like a recharge thing. You go and you listen to people speak and some of the things you already know and some of the things you'll learn, but it's listening to greatness and growing from that. And that's an important thing. You know, you see me in my office all day long. What do I have up? NBS Highway. I'm sitting there watching the rates.
I mean,
you know,
books on audio. I mean,
it's just
all
constant
kinds of things,
constant learning. You know, and that's the important thing. We have to fuel ourselves. We have to feed ourselves, and we have to feed ourselves with knowledge. I'll listen to some of those books, you know, like the marketing one I'm listening to now. I know quite a bit about marketing, but it's all been self-taught. I've never went to school for a marketing degree or anything like that, but a lot of that stuff is taking the time to sharpen the tools that are in my box. Yeah. Sharpen the tools that are that I have in order to do better at what it is we do. You know, we're known for doing the things. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but, you know,
toot.
Right. Toot, toot. No, it all falls into working with greatness, you know. So if it's Friday, which it is today, and you're listening to this, or maybe you're listening to this on a Saturday or a Sunday, every day counts. Make it count every single day. You know, that's something I put on my Facebook post is today counts. And I ended it with today counts because people need to remember that no matter what the day is, whatever your actions are, whatever it is you choose to do, make today the greatest day that you've lived so far, and then make tomorrow even better. So,
yep, do it.
Any closing? I hate that you say do it, but we'll talk about that some other time. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Luis, thanks again for being on the show. We will talk to you soon. Everybody have a great week and be safe out there.